Hey guys!
Hello!
Welcome to the second episode of Drinking with Disney with me, Molly, and my co-anchor, Lucas, here.
Hi.
And we have Penny and Baxter puttering around the apartment somewhere, so you can hear a cat and a dog at war. That's who it is, Penny and Baxter. Mm-hmm. Cheers! What are you drinking?
Tonight I'm drinking Lost Craft Revival. Revival.
Yeah, Revival.
Really great beer.
Lost Craft is really good. I don't even like beer that much. It's really good.
Yeah, great brewery in Toronto. Actually just been turned on to them recently and fantastic.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
Our brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I am drinking Lindemans. It's a really good $10 bottle of wine.
It is, but it's great. Yeah.
It's a good $10 bottle of wine.
Yeah, it is. And tonight we watched The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, so first off, here are our drinking game rules.
Right.
So, drink anytime Ariel picks up a human item and she doesn't understand or know what it is. Mm-hmm. Also drink anytime they use a made-up word for that item. Mm-hmm. And also drink anytime they're using said item wrong.
Right. And
so it's a lot.
Those three kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And
so, but you have to drink every time.
Anytime one of them happens, it's all three.
Yeah. So it's a lot of drinks.
Right.
Drink anytime Flounder is visibly scared.
Yeah. Also a lot.
Anytime Ariel cries.
That's only drink that much. She doesn't cry that much. It's only one or two times.
I don't drink that much.
Another time, one of the other heavy hitters in this game was anytime they say "Under the Sea." Obviously, the song that comes up.
There's literally a song called "Under the Sea,"
and that's one of the turning points of this whole movie.
You essentially drink the whole time that song is on because they keep saying "Under the Sea."
You do. And then the next one is anytime Eric puts the moves on Ariel.
Anytime Flounder tries to flex on someone. So anytime he tries to act tough because he's really scared, but then sometimes like when the shark gets stuck.
Yeah, and that only happens a couple of times too.
He's like, oh, actually.
Right. Next one is anytime the chef tries to kill Sebastian, which is one that happens frequently as well.
Anytime you catch yourself singing along, which even though you know it's a rule, happens a lot.
It does happen along. This is one of the movies like with the sort of the catchier songs, I think. With Under the Sea and Kiss the Girl, those are two very catchy.
Best soundtrack, but the most catchy.
Yeah.
And you know the words.
Yeah.
And also, anytime the eels do something that's shitty, Ursula's eels. Like foreskin and whatever.
I forget what
it's like. It's not a foreskin. Anyways, we'll do a quick Google fact check later. Yeah. So the start of the movie, we see them all on a boat.
The humans.
The humans on a boat, and it's like Eric. Lucas doesn't like the name Eric not for a Disney prince. I like the name Eric. We have a friend named Eric.
Yeah.
But a Disney prince needs to have like a stronger name.
Yeah, like last week we did Aladdin. Aladdin is a way doper name than Eric for like a Disney prince hero guy.
Yeah. But anyway,
Flotsam and Jetsam are the two eels.
Okay.
Not whatever Molly just said.
Foreskin.
Foreskin, yeah, not foreskin.
So we see them on the boat. I was under the impression that they were on a birthday trip.
No, that's wrong. Because what they were doing, like, apparently they were off to see another kingdom where Eric was trying to hook up with the princess there, or the princess was hoping to, like, hook up with him, and he wasn't feeling it, so they were on their way home.
So he's just having an issue finding a wife.
Yeah, which is a rough problem when you're 16 years old.
I really have troubles finding a wife, too.
Yeah, when you're, 16.
Just in general.
And, you've got your own castle, so, I mean, he's obviously doesn't have that many problems.
But anyways, that's the first time, and they're talking about how mermaids aren't real. Or no, all the sailors are talking about how mermaids are real, and then Grimsby, who's obviously barely never been on a boat in his life.
Yeah, because he's throwing up when we first see him.
Like, oh, they're not real. Don't listen to that nonsense. The sailors probably know, because they're out in the water way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then it goes under the sea. Drink under the sea.
Right.
Oh, the song got me drunk.
Yeah, so then we first travel down under the sea.
It's Ariel's like coming out. It's like her quinceañera or
Or bat
her
mitzvah.
or her, what is the thing? The Deb ball on Gossip
debutante
Girl.
ball, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's like for Ariel. She's
Yeah.
got all these sisters and it's her musical debut.
Right.
So when we see the king coming in, he's this giant mermaid.
Merman.
Merman. But he comes in on this like shell driven by dolphins.
And I don't understand why he is coming in on this shell. Because he's so lazy. Like, he can swim, obviously.
He's
can swim hella
obviously a good
and
swimmer.
He's the largest the person we see in this entire movie.
Big guy.
He can swim probably the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, why is he relying on these servants to usher him around? Like, he should just be out there swimming. Right? But I guess it is a grand entrance and everything. And it's his day off, maybe. He's going to see his daughters perform, right?
Yeah. And then we see, after he comes in, we see Sebastian.
Right. Sebastian come into less fanfare.
Oh, with like, with the little, like, guppy fish.
It's a seahorse.
Is it a seahorse?
It's a seahorse.
No, the seahorse is announcing them. It's not the seahorse driving him in.
Oh, no, he's being driven in by goldfish.
Goldfish.
Yeah. Which are freshwater fish would die in the ocean.
I didn't do that. But he comes in and he's like kind of complaining and like kind of acts like a hard ass when he first comes in.
Yeah, he does.
But then when the movie goes on, you realize that he's a big softie.
He's
he's hard on the outside and soft on the inside, like a crab.
Like a crab would be.
I don't know if they meant to do that, but it's pretty smart if they did.
Yeah.
So he's got a big. Lucas is a vegetarian, but crab. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to eat it now.
So then they go into the musical number for all the mermaids, all of Ariel's sisters, and she's supposed to be the big finale piece. But my question is, where's Triton's wife or wives? Because these mermaids seem to all be from different mothers. They all have different hair.
Just because they have different hair doesn't mean they're from different mothers.
Okay, but like it's all over the map. Like
maybe he's like a male seahorse though. He might be like a male seahorse because male seahorses carry their babies, and he's got that tail.
I'm just saying, Triton probably has like a harem of whores he's hitting.
Well, he's a king.
Yeah.
Think about Henry Tudor.
Right. Just slaying all them bitches.
Ooh, that's a gross thing to say.
I know.
We didn't touch on the fact that I wore Ariel red.
Yeah, you did.
I've tried to match Ariel's hair with my sweater, and then Lucas tried to copy my idea, and this is his, like, really sad excuse.
This is the most thing. This is the most red thing that I have. Yeah.
But anyway, I really wanted to talk about that earlier, and I forgot. I thought it was a really good idea.
And then
then we see Ariel and Flounder for the first time because they're like, "Whoa, where's Ariel at this concert?" Which, how did she forget about the concert? She really just blew it off.
Sebastian does also say that that Ariel's always blowing off rehearsal and she's never there, so it would be maybe reasonable for her to not remember that the concert is happening.
You're the dog and the cat right now.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
So why do we call... Okay, first off, Flounder's so cute. He's such a good little friend to Ariel.
He is.
He seems like he's a bit younger than her, though, because she's 16, and he acts like a little kid. He's really scared of everything, which is why one of the rules is drink when he's scared. Because you get real drunk when you do that.
Yeah,
Ask me. I'll tell you.
He's normally scared.
Yeah. But why did they call him Flounder? Like, he's... Can we do it right now? Quick Google fact. Oh,
yeah. So what they said is he's not actually a flounder because He doesn't look like a flounder.
Oh,
but what he is just a tropical fish. He's not actually based on any real fish.
So then why do they even bother calling him Flounder? They could have thought of a different name for him.
He's scared all the time, and to be scared and to bumble stuff is to flounder.
This is a flounder. It's disgusting. Penny's getting crazy.
He's being a little sauce.
But anyway, and then they call him a guppy, but he's not even. I think that's because he's small though.
But they also do kind of use guppy as a slang for scared and wimpy kind of thing, right?
What is it? Is a guppy like a minnow?
A guppy is a tiny little guppy fish. They have these funny little tails. This is our crazy dog.
Oh my god. Anyway. So then they go into this, like, shipwreck, which
right.
Flounder's, like, really terrified to go into, so Ariel's kind of a shitty friend for, like, being like, just come in!
A lot of peer pressure going on
yeah,
between
there is
Ariel
a lot of peer
Flounder.
pressure. Yeah. It's really kind of mean of her. I mean, I know she doesn't mean to be mean, but
right.
she's kind of being a dick.
A little bit.
Like, she's kind of making Flounder do something he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, totally.
It's like smoking pot for the first time. You don't want to do it, but then when you do it, it's good.
Yeah. Totally.
I've never done that.
So when they're in the shipwreck, they find this fork, right? And then when Ariel stumbles upon this fork, she's like, "Oh wow, what is this? I can't believe like."
She has no idea.
Yeah, she has no idea what it is. She thinks it's this prize thing, and meanwhile, her dad, who she's known her whole life, her whole 16 years, essentially holds a giant fork in his hand every day, all day, in his big trident. So, like, how is she puzzled as to what this is? Why doesn't she just think it's a mini trident? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mini trident, or if she doesn't realize at first, then when she goes back to talk to her dad, who's holding it,
right? Yeah,
right in front of her face, she's like,
oh,
that's the same thing.
That's like the same exact shape that I just found from the shipwreck.
Like, how does she know it's a human artifact?
Yeah,
that she's never seen before. Because she's seen it.
Because she's seen it every day. Every day.
Yeah,
she's seen it.
But anyways, then she's like, oh, Scuttle will probably know. So you think she's taking it, like, somewhere underwater, but she takes it above water to this seagull, who, honestly, okay, if we're being honest, I didn't really remember The Little Mermaid at all.
No, I haven't seen it since I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only saw it a handful of times when I was a kid because it was a movie that scared the shit out of my older brother.
I think it scared me too because I don't really remember much, but I think the reason I don't remember it is because I used to get really scared of everything and I used to have nightmares.
Right.
And Ursula's really scary.
Ursula is one of the scariest Disney villains from that era for sure.
She's really scary.
She's very scary. She's scarier than Scar for sure. Or
yeah, because Scar just does scary shit. I liked Jafar when I was little. Ursula's scary.
Like legit scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So
mean ass bitch.
So anyway, they take the fork to Scuttle, who you think is gonna be someone really smart. But then you show up and it's this seagull that's above the water, and this is the first time they go above the water, and you realize later that they're not allowed to do that. When they first come up, Scuttle, they go to Scuttle to figure out what's like this artifact, but he's using a telescope backwards.
Yeah.
So when you first see him, he's like looking into the telescope backwards, and Ariel looks like she's far away, and then he takes the telescope down and he's like, oh, that was quite a swim.
Yeah.
He's like, you swam so fast.
Yeah.
But she was right there the whole time.
And that's who he goes to for advice, right?
Yeah, so like he's not really right. He's really hilarious though.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
He's one of the better like advice givers.
Even though he's
from like
completely
a comical
wrong.
Yeah, from a comical standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that when we were watching this movie that we couldn't get over is that they're 16 years old.
Yeah, because they go back underwater right after this, and then Flounder lets it slip that they were above water because they say they saw the seagull, and Trident's like, oh, seagull, what are you talking about? They're 16.
16 years old.
If you think about it, Ariel's just a really bad 16-year-old. Like, the struggle is real, Ariel. I was really bad when I was 16. I was pretty much grounded all of 10th grade because I defied everything my parents said. I was a really bad kid, and I thought they were being assholes back then.
Right.
But I feel like this movie is teaching kids that it's okay to be assholes to your parents. Listen to your parents. My mom is now my best friend, pretty much. Yeah. Because she knew everything.
She knows what's best for you,
She knows what's best. She picked up my wedding dress.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
Maybe that's the problem. Ariel's mom isn't in the picture, right?
But she had, like, they don't say anything about her. That's why I think he's a male seahorse. Yeah. But then he would still have to get pregnant somehow. I don't know. But she's just, like, she's bad. She's bad.
She's very bad.
She goes to her grotto.
Yeah, has her own little hideaway kind of
Has her own little hideaway.
She's got all these human treasures stored in there. And that's another thing that didn't really seem logical to me in this movie. Not because animated or whatever. But she finds this fork and she's like amazed by it. But she has like chandeliers and these crazy vases and all this other crazy shit there. Like things way more impressive than a fork.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so why is she so amazed by the fork that she missed her concert?
Yeah, well, I guess she's just treasure hunting. She's picking up everything and anything. She's a hoarder. Ariel's a hoarder.
She is a hoarder. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
But I get being above ground. Like, she's not allowed to go up there because she's a mermaid and it's just a whole different thing. But why is it such a big deal that she has this grotto full of stuff? Like, why is it hidden?
I think part of the problem, like, if she was just going out to collect treasures or whatever and bring them home, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because she's going out getting these treasures and stuff, and she's verbally even said, like, I want to go look at these humans and, like, see what's up with them.
And she has gone to look at them.
Yeah, and she's been busted for that. When Trayton finds all that shit, he's like, oh, fuck, I'm putting this fucking end to this right now. Like, this is it.
Yeah, but I just don't get, like, what's the really big deal about having all this stuff. I get she's curious, whatever, but...
Yeah.
You'd think that he'd be like, oh, you're not allowed above the water, but you can have this stuff. Right. That's kind of like a good compromise.
Right, yeah. But he's
unreasonable.
He's a king. He's an authoritarian kind of figure, I guess. He doesn't give a shit, right? He's saying my way or the highway kind of deal, right?
So then when she's in this grotto, she starts to sing part of their world. And she's looking around.
Which is a dope Disney song,
It is really good. Yeah. I couldn't help but sing, and that's why I'm drunk.
Yeah.
She's looking around, she's looking at all the different stuff and being like, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? She literally says that.
She does.
Literally says that. But then she's like, what do you call them? Feet.
Right.
But she knows what legs are.
Doesn't know what feet are, but knows what legs are and dancing.
Doesn't know what the street is, though, either.
Right,
I think feet and street rhyme. So those are the two things she doesn't know what they're called.
But doesn't know what feet are, but knows what dancing is. And jumping. Jumping and dancing.
But
doesn't know feet, but knows what you need to do to jump and dance.
Doesn't know feet, but knows legs. Those are the bottom of your legs. How do you not know?
Yeah.
Or why wouldn't you just say the end of legs?
Yeah.
Those weird things at the end of legs.
The leg ends.
Ariel.
Yeah.
It's leg ends.
She's an idiot.
She's kind of stupid, but she's under the sea.
She's 16.
And she's 16! I can't get over it.
Yeah. Yeah, Molly's point when we watched this movie, time and time again, is I can't believe how fucking sweet her hair is. She's got the best hair.
Yeah, she does. She's a nice hair, and then Luke's just like, oh, well, she's underwater. I'm like, no, but even when she's above water, she has beautiful hair.
Need some more wine?
Yeah, please give me some more wine. Can you?
Yeah,
you're bringing it? Thank you. She's like got this like voluptuous hair when she's underwater, which I get, she's underwater. But then when she goes above water, it's like, almost like, think like DJ Tanner from Full House, like that perfectly coiffed, like super luscious. I'm trying to like touch my hair like it's like, but it's not. Linda Mintz. But it's just so nice. And think about it, ladies, like when you get out of the water, whether you're out of the chlorine or whether you're out of the salt, whether you're out of the fresh water, your hair doesn't look good. It looks and feels like shit. So Ariel's a goddamn... She's either really lucky or she's a liar. Or she's wearing a wig.
Yeah, the whole thing's a weave, probably, right?
It's probably a weave.
Yeah.
I think Disney put a weave in Ariel's hair. And we're just supposed to know that. Because we keep comparing ourselves to her. Or me. I do. I have hair envy. Bitch has perfect hair.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, that was a point I really wanted to get across. Because nobody has that perfect of hair. Ariel... But I guess she's, like, never dyed it or straightened it or anything before.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole... Not. I could do a whole other podcast about Ariel's hair, to be honest. Because I really want to know what she's doing.
Yeah.
But also when she's in the grotto... And she looks up, you see this, like...
The boat comes over.
Yeah, you see this, like, shadow go over the grotto. And it's a boat. How is this the first time she's ever seen a boat? She's under the sea!
Under the sea all the time.
For 16 years! For 16 years, she's under the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. And she sees them, and they're having a celebration there. Fireworks are going off. First time also seeing fireworks. Obviously, they're, like, cool to see, but why wouldn't you keep your distance
But
from
think
them?
about your dog. Your dog's scared of fireworks. Why isn't the mermaid scared of fireworks?
Right, and the dog on the boat is not scared of fireworks. He's totally cool with it.
He seems like a really cool dog.
Yeah, pretty chill dog.
So... This is this is the first time she sees humans.
Right.
Also, when she's up on the side of the boat, it's the first time she ever sees a dog.
Yeah.
So when the dog comes up to you and licks your face and is barking at you, how are you not terrified that it's gonna eat you?
Right, yeah, and she is also half human, half fish, right? And if a dog saw just a fish looking in the window there, it would eat him, right?
It would eat the fish.
It would eat the fish, so... There's like a 50-50 shot that the dog isn't just going to run up and lick her. It's going to run up and try to eat it and think it's like something that's supposed to be for dinner.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
He only saw her human half.
That's true.
But he would have smelled her fish half.
But before he saw her, he was sniffing around and smelled her and then looked over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden the weather goes bad and the boat starts to capsize. Mm-hmm. And she's hanging onto the side of the boat like she can't breathe underwater. What are you doing? You're gonna get yourself killed doing that, Ariel.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is she is a 16-year-old who has run away and is like doing something bad after her after she's been in shit.
And your dad gives you shit. Whenever going back to me, because I was a really bad teenager. When I was in trouble, when I was already probably in trouble with my parents, you run away.
Yeah, so she runs away.
No, she doesn't run away. She stays there.
No, but when she goes to the boat, she
runs away, but then she doesn't.
She has run away to the boat.
Sorry.
And everything is going down. Like, as soon as the boat starts to sink, why doesn't she just fucking jet off, right? Like, it would be...
That's what I would have done.
She is, like... out of her element and like looking at humans for the first time and shit goes south, like get out of there. Mm-hmm. Like why wouldn't you go?
Yeah.
After the ship starts to sink, Eric is all of us and realizes his dog is not on the lifeboat and goes back and gets the dog.
That gives me all the feels.
Right.
Because look at this dog.
Oh, Penny.
I would go back. I would burn rather than my dog burn.
Mm-hmm.
She is the sweetest little thing. And Zoe.
Yeah.
Zoe, she's old, but I would still save her. But anyways, that gives me all the feels. It makes me like Eric. I like Eric a lot more than we talked about Aladdin last week. I like Eric way more than I like Aladdin because Aladdin's a douchebag.
So he throws the dog off the boat to save him. And then he ends up being hit by a beam and then falls under the water.
No, the boat explodes.
And the boat explodes.
Yeah.
And he's sinking and drowning. Ariel saves him and then wakes him up by pretty much singing in front of his face, right? That's her version of CPR, is singing right in front of his face.
But before she sings in front of his face, Scuttle is there and checks his pulse through his foot, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't hear a heartbeat. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
But she's so crazy, she's laying there being like, what wouldn't I give to lay beside you?
Right, yeah. After she wakes him up with the power of her voice, he, she realizes the dog is coming and other people are coming, so she fucks off back into the water and then sits on a rock and starts belting out the lyric, belting out what she's singing. And Eric, when he wakes up, is like, oh, I just met this woman, she had the most amazing voice.
But he woke up before she belted.
Right, that's what I'm like. He woke up when she was singing in his face. The dog comes, she leaves. They start walking away. She starts belting.
Yeah.
They would definitely hear her and turn around and be like, oh, hey, come
there's
back.
that weird girl that just woke me up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, then they go under the sea. Right? Literally, they go under the sea. Because the next song we hear is Under the Sea.
Yep.
And like we said earlier, one of the rules is say drink every time you hear Under the Sea. Mm-hmm. The song's called Under the Sea. You know how many times they say it? We should quick Google check how many times they say it. We will later.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know. Follow us on Twitter. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
But Under the Sea is very similar to the scene in The Lion King.
Just can't wait to be
king.
Yep.
Yes. So similar. Because it's like, it's not the kid. Okay, so this is the difference. The kids are distracting Zazu in that movie. Where in this movie, Sebastian starts singing and saying, like, oh, you should live under the sea. Which, by the way, Sebastian made me want to live under the sea.
Yeah. He sells it pretty good.
He sells it really good, but she doesn't care. She goes off with Flounder because Flounder has a really sweet surprise for her.
Yeah. Yeah, Flounder somehow drags back this huge statue
that was on the
Eric
boat.
That was on the boat when it blew up. Somehow it didn't turn to pieces when it blew up. But Flounder, the tiny little fish, drags this huge cement statue all the way back to the grotto.
And I get it's underwater, but he would still have to... That would be hard.
Right. And also, we've only ever seen 2 entrances to the grotto as well. The top, which is a small little circle. A small little hole at the top where they swim
Where they
up,
see the boat.
Where they see the boat. And the main entrance where they move the rock and go in. And the statue is bigger than either of those 2 entrances. Mm-hmm. So Flounder is super, hella strong and very good at pivoting things through small holes.
So then Sebastian, accidentally lets it slip that they were above the water.
Right.
And Trident and him go back to the grotto.
Yep.
When they see Ariel at the statue, he's yelling at her, be like, why are you, with this human? And she's like, you don't even know him. Neither do you, Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel doesn't know him.
You literally saw him and saved his life, and that was it. You didn't talk or anything. You just thought he was hot.
She saw him play the flute.
And she fell in love.
And then she...
Because she goes behind the statue and she says, I love him!
Yeah.
And that's when her dad gets real pissed and destroys everything in the grotto.
Blows everything up.
Blows everything up, which honestly, I kind of wanted to blow everything up. But it is an overreaction of her dad.
It is.
You didn't have to blow up the statue, and maybe if he didn't blow up the statue and blow up all of her stuff, she wouldn't have been so apt to go back up there.
It's the classic parent overreaction to kid overreaction. The parent does something crazy, and then the kid does something even crazier.
Yes.
In response, which is go to Ursula and gamble away her voice for the she pretty much signs away her voice, which is her whole thing because she has the best voice in the ocean apparently. And
her musical debut.
Yeah, her musical debut, which is supposed to be off the chain, and she doesn't show up. It's like a fire fest in the ocean.
Ooh.
And so she gambles away her voice, gives it to Ursula, and then just goes to try to get a kiss from this guy.
But the reason that Ursula says you can... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry, no problem.
Can gamble away her voice is because she says Guys above the sea don't even want to talk to you.
Right. All they care about is your looks.
Which,
they don't want to
if
hear
you
what
guys
say.
remember a couple years ago, there was like a big flack behind this movie, and moms weren't letting their daughters watch this movie because Ursula says they're not interested in communication with you.
Right.
Like, just go up there and you'll be fine. You don't have to talk.
But Eric just kind of bucked that whole theory because even when he sees Ariel, who, like, was right in his business when he woke up, when she can't speak, he thinks it's a different person. Even though it is obviously the same person, right?
But my whole theory is that he was, like, super unconscious and...
Right, and dreary.
And he was, like,
right?
he thought he was dreaming, but he came back to consciousness, and he was like, oh, maybe that wasn't real, maybe it was, and then he was like, oh, I need to find this girl.
Yeah.
So, we don't know. So anyway, we think that she's fucked for being like, you know what, I don't need my voice to win this guy. But also, he's a 16-year-old boy.
He is 16. He's very young.
So
Both of them are 16, right?
So maybe you don't need your voice because 16-year-old boys are fucked. They're fucked.
Of course.
You were fucked, maybe. I don't know. I didn't really know you when I was 16.
No,
when
I
you were
was...
16. You were 3 years older than me.
That's kind of lame. That's fine.
I was fucked when I was 16.
Where are we at?
So then we go above the water and she comes out.
She's got her legs.
Bottomless. She has her legs now after she's given
Yep.
her voice to Ursula because nobody wants to listen to her.
Right.
She comes out nude, which is kind of fucked up because it's a kids movie, but you don't see the vagina, but it's implied that it's there.
It's always implied.
It's implied. So then she turns this, like, shitty toga sheet that Scuttle's like, you need to dress pretty, lady. And it looks like shit at first, into this cute little dress. And Eric's like, ooh, hey, girl. On the beach? Hey, girl. Have we met?
Hey, girl, hey.
Have we met? Why is he, like, so... Okay, so, first off, he's like, have we met? She says yes, but she goes...
Right. And why doesn't he clue into that it's the same girl when she's like, yes, we've met? And like,
because...
How many random bitches is he meeting on this small little island
that
in
have
this
red
tiny
hair.
little community that are ginger?
But anyway, he says because he can't hear her voice, obviously it's not the girl that he thought it was.
Yeah.
Why is the palace helping this girl? Because think about real life, she would be like in prison or like in trouble or something. Not in prison, but you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't help.
It would just be like who the fuck is... She'd be like a Jane Doe. It would be like...
But the palace wouldn't help. They bring her to dinner, they give her a bath, like they give her a place to stay for 3 days.
Right, yeah.
None of that would happen. Especially a girl who couldn't talk. Like, not trying to sound rude, but like...
Jesus, that's problematic.
I didn't mean to say it like that, but you know what I mean. Like this girl that's sitting there like like.
Right.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. So then we go to dinner. Like I said, they take her to this like nice dinner, and there's crab being prepared. And Louise is the chef, is trying to kill Sebastian because he's a crab who's gotten into the castle. And it's pretty gruesome.
It is pretty...
Like, he's trying to stab him.
It's pretty dark because Sebastian is in like the sheet that Ariel gets found in, and they go and try to wash it. And he sneaks out and is like wandering around the palace, and he gets into the kitchen, and he sees like a fish with its head cut off, a bunch of other crabs, like prepared already. Like that is dark. Like, this is him seeing people, like his own... It's like us walking into a kitchen and seeing, like, humans, like, filleted out, like, ready to be eaten.
Yeah.
Like, that is terrifying.
It's really fucked up.
Good on Sebastian for, like, keeping his wits about him to be like, let me get the fuck out of here, not just freezing up and, like, actually, like... Die. Like, because it would have been so easy for him to die, but he is so resilient. He's a good crap.
And then, we go to the next day after dinner. Well, she's like watching whatever. It's kind of boring. And then we go to the next day, and they're going around the town as Grimsby suggests. And then we see Flounder for the first time in so long, and you don't realize how little Flounder is in the movie. Because I feel kind of bad for Flounder, because he's like this big character, and you don't realize how little he's in the movie.
Yeah. As soon as she becomes a human, he is just kind of like hanging out,
because he's a fish,
somewhere near the palace, and just hanging out, trying to not be caught. Like,
he's literally just in the water the whole time because he has to be.
Yeah.
Because he's probably a saltwater fish, or else they would have probably tried to bring him inside.
Right.
That's the only realistic thing. They can't bring him inside because it's fresh water.
Right.
But he's a really good friend. Like, what friend would just hang out there for 3 days? Being like, how is this going?
There's no way he could go back to, back home, because if he was seen by Triton, Triton would be like, where the fuck's my daughter at?
Yeah, but I think that's not what his mindset is. I think he's there just because he's a good friend and he wants to know what's going on. He wants, because everyone, him and Scuttle are both like, have they kissed yet? Have they kissed yet?
Yeah. Which brings us to the song, Kiss the Girl.
The super romantic date.
It's the best song in this movie.
It is.
It very much is.
Yeah. I was very much between that and Under the Sea. Under the Sea is the most popular. Yeah. But Kiss the Girl is the best song.
It's the best song in the movie.
He taps on the turtles.
It's like, percussion.
Yeah. It's a good song. Anyway, so then they're in the lagoon. It's really cute, and they're having a really hard time getting this 16-year-old boy who has this girl alone to kiss this 16-year-old girl. If you ask me, he would slip her a cheeky finger.
Oh, God.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but, like, think about it. He's a horny 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, he's trying to get some, I would imagine.
And they've been together for, like, a couple days.
Yeah, they've been together, like, literally looking,
2 days.
like, being together for, like, the
alone,
entire
and she's
time.
very, like, eager to kiss him, and there's no way he doesn't know.
She's putting that vibe out there hard.
There's no way he doesn't know. There's no way he doesn't know she wants to kiss him, so, like, where's the kiss? I'm sorry about saying cheeky finger. But it's true!
Yeah.
It's true.
Totally true. But when they get under the willow tree and it gets all romantic and super sexy.
Romantic.
And they get within like a few like millimeters of like actually like smooching, the eels come in and wreck all of Sebastian's work.
Oh, Sebastian put in... Why couldn't they just do that at the beginning? Because Sebastian put in so much work. I guess it's just because they're evil a-holes.
Yeah, so those eels must have been just like lurking under the boat
the whole time. The whole time.
Right?
They were probably like little... What are those things called on the bottom of on the bottom of whales? Krill. Oh, swim away! Oh, krill.
No, krill are like
on the bottom of whales.
No, krill are whale food.
But it's on the bottom of the whale. Trust.
What
is it? Yeah, what is this? Sorry, music change because this is not.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, put that on.
Where are we at?
Sorry. So yeah, then it cuts to Ursula under the water, and she was the one who gave her the 3-day rule. So Ariel's obviously trying really, really hard, and then Ursula calls her a tramp.
Yeah, she does.
She literally says tramp in the movie. She's like, that tramp almost kissed him, but that was your goal.
Yeah, it was your bet. Like, she just thought in that moment that she made a bad bet, and she thought she was gonna lose, right? Ursula's also like she's not a fair sport. Come on, like, if you make a bet with someone, like, keep your hands off.
But she's a witch.
Right? She's a bitch.
She's a witch. She's just doing it to get her soul, though.
Right.
Poor unfortunate souls.
Because she wants to sink Trident and get his power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So then, yeah, she calls her tramp, and then she's like, devises this plan. She takes the seashell necklace up above the water.
Yep.
And I literally did not realize this until tonight when we rewatched Eric's under a spell. Because if you remember, the next day, Ariel wakes up and everyone's being like, oh, you guys are getting married. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
One, why are you not more confused? Because he didn't propose to you or anything like that.
Right. She just goes along with it.
She's like, oh, he decided he's marrying me and that's cool. But yeah, I did not realize Ursula was using the spell and the shell, magic, like Ariel's voice, and using magic to make Eric be like, we need to get married this afternoon.
Yeah.
Did anybody else know that?
Yeah.
I was really young when I watched this movie. What at the bottom? Oh, sorry. So she's so confused, but she's okay with it. And then we go downstairs and we see this, nothing against brunettes, but this brunette bitch named Vanessa.
And she has a lot of Ariel features too. Same kind of nose and obviously the same voice and stuff.
I think that's why she did it, because everybody knew Eric really liked Ariel, so...
Yeah, and nobody steps up and is like, what happened to Ariel? Like, you were just, like, vibing with her for, like, the last, like, 3 days, like, and then this bitch comes along, and
you guys are getting married this afternoon.
Yeah.
They just met overnight. But literally, after their date, and he's, like, so happy about their date, then he sees Ursula on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he gets put under the spell?
Yep.
I didn't realize.
Yep, right under the spell.
Oh, yeah. And so, Vanessa's such a bitchy name. I'm sorry. I don't think I know anybody named Vanessa. But that's a bitchy name.
So then, they're to be married, and news goes out, and, what's the bird's name? Scuttle. Flies by the boat and sees Ursula in the mirror and realizes it's not.
He hears Ariel's voice.
And then sees the Ursula in the mirror. Flies back, lets them know. And then they all charge out to the boat to kind of.
Yeah, and the first thing Sebastian says is like, Flounder, get out to the boat. Flounder's supposed to be this tiny little fish, so how the fuck fast do you think he's getting out there?
He's quick as shit. Yeah.
But then it shows him struggling. So how long is this wedding ceremony?
Long time. Yeah.
It's really long. Yeah. But then when Scuttle gets there to distract them, which is his job, they're already saying I do.
Yeah, so he says I do, and they break it off before she says I do.
So the timeline is like not very accurate in the sense that like Flounder gets there and then Scuttle gets there and then it's just kind of a shit show. The wedding's a shit show.
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
But the gist of the wedding is that it doesn't happen, and they break the seashell.
Yeah,
and then the voice goes back to Ariel, and Eric realizes that Ariel is the one that he actually saw, who saved him, and who was the one that he was actually trying to figure out and marry with. Right?
Then they start talking, and the sun sets and whatever, and then she gets her fin, and it's like he's not like, what the fuck? Why do you have a fin? He's like, Ariel.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that she has a fin.
No.
Because true love prevails.
I guess. Jesus.
Yeah.
It turns into this big fight underwater. And as soon as they go back underwater, Triton is there, tries to destroy this contract that's unbreakable by his magic because it's legally binding.
But if he's the ruler of the sea, why can't he just break it? Like, think about when we were talking about the Sultan last week when he was like, oh, you can marry whoever you want. Why can't Triton do that?
Triton can't do that shit.
That's bullshit.
So he's got this legal power or whatever. And then she turns him, or he wagers his life against Ariel's, and
he obviously takes it because it's her dad.
Right.
My dad would do that.
Right, yeah. But then they end up fighting Ursula and destroying her, and fucking Eric legitimately ends up stabbing her with a boat.
With a boat?
In the back.
Death by boat.
Which is one of the most baller moves of in any Disney movie. Like, that's one of the most baller ways to kill somebody, is stabbed with a boat.
Death by boat.
Death by boat.
Ursula in the ocean.
And then as soon as Ursula's done, all the lost souls that she had helped or whatever, the trapped souls, come back to life. And
Which is so nice to see them all come back, because she's like, "Oh, unfortunate souls." Yeah. Joke's on you, Ursula. They're all back to life.
This is her back, right?
And then eventually Triton's just like, you know what? I'm really gonna miss you, and had the power to send Ariel above ground the whole time, or above the sea, the whole time. But if you think about it, okay, first off, the first time she came out, she was not wearing bottoms. No. So why does she come out in this Celine Dion dress?
Well, that's probably because Triton gave her the legs that time, right?
Oh yeah, because Ursula was trying to probably make her feel like over, shit, right? First off, Ursula,
she transferred,
could have drowned her.
Yeah, that was probably half of the whole thing, right? Like, she gets her into that, like, I'll trade you your voice for legs. She was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
It gives her legs on the bottom of the sea.
Gives her legs down in her, like, Ursula's little, like, layer in the bottom of the sea, and it's Sebastian and Flounder who drag her up to the top.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, I guess Triton has his daughter's back for once.
For once.
I mean, but, like, not really for once. He really had her best interest the whole time. He was just trying to be a good dad. And she was just being a shitty 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Triton says, like, the hardest thing I'll ever have to do or whatever is say bye.
Or, like, I'm gonna miss her.
It's like, obviously this is, like, what, like, Ariel's, like, kind of up in that area all the time, so it's, like,
it's not that
a 25-minute swim for them to say hi to each other. Like, they're gonna see each other.
It's not that far. They can go do Christmas on the beach.
Yeah, and he gives her legs, and then after that, we see their wedding, and he's there and stuff. So obviously, they're visiting each other. Like, it's not like.
And also, would he not have the power just to give himself human legs for the day?
Right, or to give her her tail back for the day.
For the day.
Right?
Like, really he does, because he literally was like...
Or to even give her tail back and Eric a tail as well to go down. And everybody come visit the parents, come see everybody down here, right?
It's really more doable than they make it seem.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a
it's doable if you have those magic powers.
But he has the magic powers.
If we're leaning into the whole mermaid thing, yeah, it's totally doable. Totally
doable. He has the magic powers. If he has them, he has them.
No, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, overall, a really quick movie.
Yeah, it's only like 80 minutes long. Like, it flies by.
Okay, I kept on talking about it today and saying it's 120 minutes. Which is 2 hours. But it's an hour and 20 minutes long.
So it's 80 minutes long, yeah.
And I wasn't even drunk when I said that.
And it flies by, and it's like,
good.
What, a third of music as well, so.
Which is really good, though. I love the third of music. Mm-hmm. I think if you guys are looking for a fun drinking game for, like, a pre-drink, definitely a good idea, because it's quick. Very good one, yeah. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Not 120 minutes.
No.
So it's really quick, and you get real drunk because you go to Under the Sea.
Yeah, you do go Under the Sea.
Under the Sea is the one that makes you drunkest.
It is.
So we established best song, Kiss the Girl.
Best song is definitely Kiss the Girl, I think.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Anyway, we don't have to sing. You guys can watch for yourselves. But who do we think is the real MVP of this movie?
My MVP of the movie, I think, is Sebastian. Because he's always looking for Ariel's best interests, and he could rat her out to Triton and say, and he does have that moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and tell on you right now, and then you'll be stuck and then Triton will, like, lock you down in your lair or whatever, and then you'll be sad for the rest of your life or whatever."
And he has that realization
that, like, for her to, like, actually, like, have a life, he needs to help out, right?
Yeah.
And he does kind of lie to his boss at some points as well to, like, help Ariel. And he, like, is very, very essential in getting Eric to fall in love with Ariel during Kiss the Girl. Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Who's your MVP of this movie, then?
Scuttle.
Scuttle?
Yeah.
All right.
It's Scuttle because Scuttle helps Ariel out. He kind of introduces her to the human world, which is really important. And also, he's the one who stops bitch-ass Vanessa from saying I do. And he also is the one who realizes that Vanessa is actually Ursula and goes and warns everybody else.
Yeah.
He's the real MVP.
All right. Well, we'll put up the poll on our Twitter to see who you guys think is the real MVP.
Please let us know, because I really like to be proved right.
And from our last episode, we actually ended up with a 50-50 split on our last MVP.
It was 50-50. People thought it was Abu and the Magic Carpet.
Yeah, so they're sharing the inaugural MVP trophy of Drinking with Disney.
So we need to find out who wins this week.
This week we need a definitive winner.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in and listening, watching. As always, watch next week.
See ya!